ball game.
What's good, guys? Welcome back to the pod. It's Shonen Hoops. How we doing today, Andy? How we doing?
We're doing well. Well, hello everybody. It's been a while. Sorry we didn't upload last week. We're just kind of like coming up with some brainstorming ideas, and we got some good videos coming for you guys the next couple of weeks. But we're gonna start it off with our favorite issue that everybody's been noticing.
Injuries, baby. Everyone's hurt.
NBA injuries, and well, let's get to it.
All right. So I don't want to say it's laughable, but it's very crazy. We've been seeing injuries all over the league. Some have been random, some have been by contact. But the thing we can agree on, it's affected to the start of the year.
It has affected teams a lot more unfairly than others.
Let's start with the most affected team.
Yes.
The poor New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah, so we did. Yeah, so you guys know we kind of like summed it down. We picked like 6 teams that have just been either really getting screwed up by injuries, or they've had bad injuries, but they're still kind of like treading through the waters and still doing what they should be doing. But yeah, to start it off, New Orleans Pelicans.
Yep, we're looking at Zion. I don't learn. I never learn.
You don't.
It's not this year's not about the weight, but homeboy's hurt again. But the rest of them is just like very unfortunate. Jose Alvarado, Jordan Hawkins, CJ McCollum, Herb Jones, and DeJounte Murray. And it's like the only guy that's healthy is Brandon Ingram, who they were trying to trade in the offseason.
It's crazy that the guy they were going to try to trade is the one that's. Well, I mean, let's be real here. They're not even winning that many games. I think they're what?
3-9.
They're 3-9, so it's not saying much, but.
It's not, but it's like, what do you expect from this team? Like, Trey Murphy just came back because Trey Murphy was on this list.
Yes.
So I don't know what else you wanted to expect from the Pelicans, but it's like they just can't compete. Even Orlando, who was like battling injuries at the moment, they went out and blew out New Orleans.
Yeah, it's New Orleans is becoming a very, very sad story, and I did see a report. I wish I remember like exactly what it was, but I think it's like throughout the 3 years that Zion has been like in the NBA, he's only played like up to like 80 games.
I think it's like he played 100-something games of the possible 400.
Yes.
That's disgusting.
Yeah,
it's nasty. It's nasty, and it's unfortunate because this team very soon, like financially, is gonna be capped.
Yeah,
and they don't know what they actually have with this roster.
I think this was also supposed to be the year that like DeJounte Murray. This was the 1 year DeJounte Murray they had, right? And now they have to like sign him after this year.
You have DeJounte. We don't know if he works well with CJ or not. Yeah. We were supposed to see Herb Jones at center, but we can't even see that anymore. And we said, okay, well maybe now it's time for Hawkins to get a look, and then he goes down, and then Alvarado goes down. And I don't know what this team does. And they were in the Western Conference. I don't know that they're going to be able to survive long enough because you look at Houston, who's off to a really good start.
Yeah.
San Antonio's off to a stronger start than I expected. There's not many teams in the Western Conference. OKC and Phoenix are looking at very tough injuries that are top heavy, but they played well enough out the gates to where they can survive a bit.
Yeah, but stopping you there, we're going to go on to the next team, which has also been kind of iffy with injuries, has been the Memphis Grizzlies.
So mainly Vincent Williams has also been out, but yes. Desmond Bane is now out. So he's week to week with an oblique injury. John Morant again injured. Gigi Jackson has yet to play this year. And we're looking at the Jaren Jackson Jr. show again.
Yeah.
He played extremely well, but wasn't enough to beat the Los Angeles Lakers. On a game that Anthony Davis particularly didn't play very well.
Yes. But let's be real here. LeBron, at least these last 3 games, has been on a tear getting triple-doubles.
Hey. That's GOAT. That's
I guess that's true. But we're kind of just getting a repeat of last year, if we're going to be honest, at the beginning, where it was just the Jaren Jackson Jr. show.
Yeah. Just hopefully once Desmond Bane gets back, he's in John Morant, especially once those 2 guys get back, they're able to stay back. And the Grizzlies are able to tread more because right now they're 7-5. It's not horrible.
Yeah.
It's at this point these teams that are plagued with these injuries are just survive until your guys get back and then try to make up ground from there. Just don't fall so far behind that you won't be able to.
Yeah, especially because like you said, like in the West, I feel like 1-2 games could be the difference of you being in the play-ins or in the playoffs. It's just so tight nowadays.
And we saw what happened to Sacramento last year.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in the play-in.
All right, so going off from there, we're going to go with OKC. You did mention it.
Oklahoma City has lost all three of their centers, and it's bonkers.
Yep. Yeah.
Harnstein with the hand injury to start the year. Chet Holmgren, he made it a regular basketball play, went up where Andrew Wiggins fell on his hip, out 8 to 10 weeks. Jalen Williams out. Alex Caruso got recently added to this list. But it's now we're looking at J-Dub playing center, and it's I don't know. Like, the Thunder are a really good team. They're very mobile, but I don't know that they're going to have the size enough to compete with, especially with the bigs that are out west.
Yeah, that is very true. They are still number one as of now. But I feel like, as you said, when they start meeting the bigger teams, they're gonna have to prey on their three ball. If we're gonna be real here, there's not gonna be anything. There's no paint protection.
Yeah, absolutely. The rebounding is gonna have to be a team effort. That has to be the focus defensively. You can't allow offensive rebounds. Yes, there are going to be rebounds left because of the size discrepancy between these teams now with OKC, but there has to be an effort made that you can only give up so many rebounds in order to compete in these games.
Okay, so then going on from there, I think we go to the Orlando Magic.
Orlando is a perfect example of a team that is treading water.
Yes.
They're sitting at 7-6, but the Eastern Conference has been so derailed by injuries. They're the third seed with that record.
Yep.
You lose Paulo Banchero and Wendell Carter Jr., and you proceed to go on a 5-game losing streak. Luckily, you play the Washington Wizards, the New Orleans Pelicans with all their injuries, the Charlotte Hornets are also facing a couple injuries, and Indiana, who's not completely healthy. But Indiana, out of those 4 teams, are the only playoff team on that list. So and Orlando managed to win all of 4 games. And now it's just, can you keep your head above water, especially with the East being this bad to start the year, to point just hold on out? Because there's also a version of Banchero where he's out for the rest of the year.
Well, let's hope it doesn't happen. But yeah, the East has been kind of a train wreck just overall everywhere. We'll mention the team that everybody's been talking about toward the end of just
yes. But yeah, Banchero should be reevaluated near the end of November in about 2 to 4 weeks, probably knowing the organization closer to the 4-week period to be reevaluated, and hopefully he'll be cleared to play. Same thing with Wendell Carter. They're gonna need them both to fight for seeding.
I will say though, Franz Wagner has been pulling his weight. I will say that because
I
was the doubter.
For the people in the back, one more time.
He's pulling his weight now, so I hope he continues playing well. And if you can keep the Magic going up in a positive way, then at the end, I think I'm gonna have to give his props. But he still has to maintain until they get back. But he's doing a great job so far. All right, so moving on to the Phoenix Suns, which I will be honest, they're kind of surprising that they're not as I thought they'd be worse, and they're still kind of doing really well. But losing their stars is always an issue.
Bradley Beal, he's like more of a day-to-day, but yeah, Durant's going to be out for a bit of time. Grayson Allen has been out for the majority of the year, who's now questionable for Friday. But yeah, it's crazy what a team looks like once you add a point guard.
Yeah.
And Tyus Jones. And this is why I thought Frank Vogel's firing was very unfair. But heck, I'm happy for Bud. I'm happy for the Suns organization is finally playing well. It's just unfortunate watching a guy like Kevin Durant, who got off to such a great start to this year. Definitely on an MVP candidate early on, way too early. But another guy who's just like hamstring injury here, hamstring injury there, across the league, and it's Kevin Durant was unfortunately.
Yeah. I will say though, I don't know if it's the injuries or what it was, but they lost back-to-back against Portland Trailblazers. They did lose back-to-back. So I'm just wondering, are we gonna get more of that? I'm not gonna say anything bad about Portland, but Portland also has their injuries they're suffering with Anthony Simmons and what's the other guy's name? There's the other good guy that's on that team, but they've been beating the Suns.
Hey, Scoot like those restaurants in Phoenix, man.
Yeah, I guess so. But Phoenix are going to be a team to keep an eye on with the injuries because Devin Booker's not playing well.
Hopefully Booker's able to keep and Beal, if Beal's back relatively soon, they'll be able to hold Phoenix a little hard.
But that's a team to keep looking at. And then we go to the Toronto Raptors, which honestly,
Okay, now I want to say this about a team that's trying to see what they have. It's not as bad as a contending team facing injuries because their window is now. But a team that is very young and trying to figure out how to build a team moving forward, it sucks.
yeah,
It really does suck because now this feels like a wasted year of growing as a team, and you don't know where you're gonna have and how pieces fit. Because quickly after playing the first game of the season, was out for a period of time, and his first game back, he tore something in his elbow out.
Oh, yeah.
Scotty Barnes has been out. Bruce Brown has been out. Kelly Olynyk has been out, and it's as the Raptors, who admittedly in training camp said, yes, we understand we're not going to compete for a championship, but you're still trying to grow as a team,
yeah,
and move forward. And when you're playing injured, you're not able to grow. You're not able to progress and be better.
yeah. It sucks because, like you said, we're literally watching it's kind of like watching a kid fall down. You're like, you want to see how far these young guys can go, but they're getting cut at every possible turn with all these injuries. So when we have yet to be able to see the full potential of what a healthy looking Toronto team looks like. Hopefully we get to see it sooner than later, or at least at some point this year. But as of right now, Toronto it's not a pretty look for them. And
Yeah, I have quickly on my fantasy team. I need homeboy back sooner rather than later.
bro, you're talking to me, the guy that got freaking at Scotty Barnes, and all he did was get elbowed by the damn freaking Jokic, and now his
Man,
face got broken.
I have 5 players out. I don't want to hear nothing.
That's fair. That's fair. But and then obviously we have to do the staple of injury teams.
Okay, let me say this. I said it to start the year. People had Philadelphia way too high on the damn tier list, on their conference predictions. I knew what Embiid was this year. I knew, and that's why I didn't want. I said it. Paul George going there had to have understanding that this was more likely the scenario. This is not what I wanted. I never want to see a team deal with injuries like this. But for both of them not to be ready to start the year, now Tyrese Maxey goes down.
Yeah. So it was literally Tyrese Maxey pulling the whole damn horse, and his legs gave out, and he's now injured. Now we got Joel Embiid back, but he's playing every other game.
2-9, and so is Paul George. Paul George didn't play in the second half.
Yeah, Paul George is also so that's why, as you can see in our lovely little thing, we do have half of Embiid and half of Paul George still injured because they're not playing a damn full season.
The 76. Listen, the 76ers are so lucky outside of Milwaukee that all these teams are facing injuries one way or another, that they're still alive, sitting at 2-9. And now Milwaukee's starting to get their act together. It's behind Giannis's historic performances, but still.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane. Brooklyn's playing better. Detroit's better than what I expected. Chicago. All these teams are better than we expected. Philadelphia has to get their stuff together sooner rather than later.
Yep. And talking about teams that, I don't have a slide for them, but just to finish it off, these are all our injured teams. A team that's really completely flabbergasted me and Omar has been the damn Cleveland Cavaliers. Who the
I will say, I said it before the year started. The X factor for this team was going to be the jump of Evan Mobley, and the jump of Evan Mobley has happened. Evan Mobley has the ball in his hands a lot more this year. His usage is at 24%. It's the highest of his career by far. He's attacking offensively. He's no longer standing in the corner, and that's just what the head coach of Kenny Atkinson has done. He's been able to unlock the both pairings of Mobley, Allen, and Mitchell and Garland, respectively. And this is without Max Strus being in the lineup.
Yeah, but 13-0 is crazy. Omar, give me a prediction. How far are they going without taking a loss?
I remember their next 4 games are very winnable. Let's go 17-0. They're gonna start 17-0.
So, okay, 17-0. I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna go 20. I think they can win 20. I think we're seeing some type of miraculous gameplay, the Monstars type, Space Jam type business where they took the powers, but because they should not be winning this many games. But kudos to them. This is the end of our injury-ridden cursed season. Hopefully, no more players get injured. We don't want to put any of that energy in there. Hopefully, everybody can recover and come back perfectly healthy. Any final words, Omar?
No, that's gonna wrap it up. Yeah, like Andy said, we hate to see the injuries, man, but it the NBA has to figure out what's going on. Like these teams, if it's like the bodies aren't prepared due to the lack of training camp or whatever the reason is that they're not ready for this regular season, and these nagging injuries keep popping up. But that's gonna do it. See you guys next time. Peace.